What's up, everybody? It's your boy E from Mr. Real. Happy New Year, and I'm back for another video. And this video is about the top 10 rappers from Toronto who I think are going to have a great 2021. And when I mean great 2021, I don't mean take over the charts worldwide or anything like that, but I mean continue the progress that the Toronto music scene has shown over the last 5 years. And hopefully some of these artists can accumulate major label deals and work with artists in the States. So with this list, the metrics I used were social media following, YouTube views, Spotify listenership, Spotify views, impact in the city, wave in the city, pull in the city, just the buzz in the city. And then at the end of the day, after all that, just my lens, you know what I mean, what I think, my projections. So these are my views. There's going to be a lot of people that didn't make this list, you know what I mean? Feel free to comment your top 10, you know what I'm saying? But I did have an honorable mention of people that didn't make the list, but I feel could definitely still make that impact. And starting with this particular artist right here, she doesn't actually meet my criteria, but this is just me thinking and looking at her and hearing her music and saying she can go. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about BxbyPhze. A lot of people might not know her, but she is very talented, and I think she has her own lane. She's not competing with any rapper, any artist in the city, because her music's just different, her style is different, and her perspective is different. She's a young lady talking about doing drugs and fucking bad bitches with crazy melodic flows, and from what I've heard so far, her vocal range is very, very good, you know what I'm saying? So I think she can definitely do something in the city, you know what I'm saying, and outside the city, to be honest. She has the talent to be a mainstream artist, and to be honest, that's my real feeling about her. Next, we have Sick People. Originally used to go by the name of Sick. Sick is one of the original Toronto rappers from the new generation who used to rap with Roney, YH, and you know those rappers back in the day. He's always had a wave and a buzz, but every time his wave and buzz would come back up, he would get locked up again. I looked at 2020 as a reset for him, as a year of where he actually produced music consistently throughout the year and didn't get locked up again, with songs like GG, which hit over 400K, Dead Man, Never Saw Me, Freezer, Jamaican Canadian. Sick and Roney worked together a lot in 2020, and to Sick's credit, two of Roney's biggest songs featured him, with Go There and Jamaican Canadian. Sick always brings something different to a song because he's not afraid to step outside of a box, whether changing the flow of the whole song or go on a crazy type of beat, or whether singing. He has a lot of different personalities to show through his music, and if he can stay free, I think he's promised to have a great 2021. My next honorable mention is Roadrunner. Roadrunner is a rapper who came on the scene in 2019 with songs like Never Again and PTSD. He built on that buzz going into 2020 with songs like Freezing and From the Dirt with 3M French. He kept going and going with songs like Vengeance, and then he ended up getting locked up in 2020. At the time he got locked up, Roadrunner was building a very solid fan base worldwide. And when I say worldwide, I'm not exaggerating. For those that don't know, Roadrunner, as many people think when they see him for the first time, may think he's white, but he's not. He's from Pakistan. He's been able to build a fan base in one of the most populated countries in the world. Roadrunner's style is very different. He raps melodically about pain, but at the same time, he doesn't sound like a traditional Toronto artist. His accent also gives him a different sound that is very unique. He recently dropped his new song, Deep Scars, which accumulated 100,000 views in 4 days on YouTube. I think in 2021, Roadrunner can have a very great year if he can stay free and continue producing music at this level. This next artist could easily been top 5 on the list, but is an honorable mention right now because he's currently locked up, and I'm talking about Burna Bandz. Burna is definitely one of the top artists in the city, but it's hard to project where he'll be in 2021 because he's currently locked up, as I said. I consider Burna Bandz to be Toronto's Kodak Black, and in 2020 he was definitely one of the hottest rappers. Even though he was gone for half the year, he still managed to accumulate 18.4 million streams on Spotify, drop another tape, Bands Can't Fall Part 2, and if he's released in 2021, he'll be right back in the thick of things as being one of the hottest rappers in the city. The next rapper on the list has been gone for 2.5 years, and rumor has it he'll be released in 2021. And if he is, he'll be right back where he left off. If you don't know who I'm talking about Casper TNG. When Casper is released, he'll jump right back to where he belongs as being one of the top rappers in the city. If his music and quality is still the same, if his work rate is still the same, he's going to be right back as being one of the top guys. And one of the weird proven facts in hip hop, when you go and do time and you come out, it enhances your career as long as your music is still the same. So as long as he can stay out of trouble upon his release, I think Casper will be right back, man. He was one of those guys who had a crazy work rate. He was dropping mixtape after mixtape. He really took music serious, and if he comes back out in 2021, he'll be somebody I think that should be on my top 10 list. But as for now, he's got to be an honorable mention. Number 10 on my list is Lil Barrett. Lil Barrett is definitely one of the bigger artists in the city, but I would say 2020 was a slow year. He went through a few rap beefs and had to answer a few things on the internet. He also didn't release a lot of music in comparison to 2019, where he put out 3 projects. But he did have a standout song with 2K Baby called Murder. That was one of the best songs he put out of the 4 that he gave for 2020. Even with such a low output of songs, he still managed to have 166,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, showing you that his catalog does contain music with replay value. But going into 2021, Lil Barrett does have an ace in his back pocket. He has a feature with the late King Von. At the time when he got that feature, King Von was scorching. They also shot a video as well. And it shows you at the time, for him to pay for that feature shows you that he's willing to invest in his career. Well, as we all know, King Von is passed now. And that feature, the long run, will probably make him 5 times at least what he paid for it. All he needs to do is have the rest of his music lined up for once that feature drops, because all eyes will be on him. I think Lil Barrett has a promising 2021 ahead of him. At number 9, I have 3M French. 3M French is probably one of the most consistent rappers in the city. French has had a hit in the city for at least the last 3 years with songs like Game Plan, Ready for War, 7 a.m. in London, Us Now. And now last year he had Steppers with Top 5. He's always going to be consistently one of the highest viewed rappers in the city with songs like Fly Away, Demon Time. And French's music is not always your traditional straight street rap, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes he'll get on a beat that's up tempo, you know what I'm saying, and ride the beat and still come with that street shit, still talk about, you know what I mean, whatever he needs to talk about, but it's something that the bitches can listen to, them bop to, you know what I mean, that even somebody who's not really trying to get involved with the actual lyrics can bop to, you know what I'm saying? Also, he's somebody that doesn't always have to go outside of his camp, you know what I mean? He works with 3M Archie a lot. Tutu's home. Pang's probably going to be home soon, so he has those type of weapons around him, and they can create some great music just for their side. You know what I'm saying? He has that to his advantage. And before Corona, as far as I can remember, he was also one of the rappers that I remember that did put on a few shows. I know he had a show in Windsor. I think he had a show in Oshawa. You know what I'm saying? So he had a few shows, and I expect him to continue thriving and making quality music, man. And he takes this seriously. That's one thing I can say just from looking from the outside in. You know what I mean? And since his career started, we haven't seen him disappear and get locked up or anything of that nature. He's been very consistent, as I said. He's one of the most consistent we have. So I think French definitely deserves to be on this list. I'm sure a lot of his fans would say he should be a lot higher on the list. At number 8, I have LB Spiffy, a.k.a. Loyal Boss. Kylie Jenner, and she had his song Situations playing on her IG story. Nothing really amounted from that. It's not like she tagged him or anything, but it just shows that his music's getting to the right places for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? He dropped the 8-song project called No Pounds in 2020, and he had features from 2K Baby and Bankroll Hayden, as well as songs like number 7, I have J Neat. J Neat had one of the more productive years in 2020, appearing on a collaboration project with Super Wasi called Super Neat, and also being one of the more active artists on the Northside Jane 2 mixtape. He also dropped his second solo project called Lost Soul, with songs like Meds, Chances featuring Swish, and Drift and Slide featuring Big Slime and Swish. Drift and Slide was one of the biggest songs of the city in 2020, and I think it should have been something bigger, to be honest, man. When J-Nee gets in that bag, in that yay I bag, you know he's flowing. His mixtape was really good, man. I think a lot of people slept on it. Like songs like Can't Trust featuring Young Tory and Castro, that was a well put together song if you really listen to what they're saying. Um, Eye for Eye, obviously Drip Freestyle 2 featuring, the GOAT Houdini. Um, that's the tape was solid, man, very solid. He puts his pain into the melodies, and you can hear it. You know what I'm saying? And and people in the city, there's things that people are going through that that they put in their music, and you can really see it and you can really hear it. And he also stepped up his video quality in 2020, man. Like a lot of his videos, the production definitely went up. You saw that he was in different settings, doing different things. So J-Nee, man, J-Nee can definitely look forward to 2021, man. If he can keep the production up and keep giving us more music, I think he's gonna have a really, really good year. At number 6, I have Roney. Roney will always be relevant when it comes to Toronto rappers because he has such a loyal fan base. He was one of the rappers who was on fire before he was locked up in 2014, which derailed his career at such a young age. He was definitely one of the only rappers I remember who had shows back then and was selling merch. He was selling those DGC shirts a lot. Um, I'm gonna say this: Roney definitely surprised me because when he was locked up, I was one of the people who was saying that I didn't think he would be able to come back and reintegrate himself back in the scene because the sound had changed so much. But he definitely came back, and it took him a little bit to readapt. But ever since then, he's been getting things popping. You know what I'm saying? And this year and last year, 2020, he had a really good year. He was very productive as always. He dropped 2 tapes. He dropped Different Route and dropped Seen It All, and like I said, he had some collaborations with Sick that definitely made some noise in the city. Go There was a big song. Jamaican Canadian was a big song. He also stepped outside the box and and showed his artistry by dropping the song called BLM at the times of when George Floyd was killed by a police officer, and the whole world was all focused on Black Lives Matter. That's something that a lot of Toronto artists don't necessarily do. They don't always step outside their lane with things that they're not comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? Roney did that with that song. Also had a song called Heartfelt, Dear Mama. So he's not just trying to stay in that one lane, that one box. He's trying to really rap. So I got to give it up to him. He had 7.2 million streams on his Spotify. He's working. I wouldn't say he's my favorite artist, to be honest, but I have to acknowledge it. I see what he's doing, and I see the movement he has. You know what I'm saying? So going to 2021, I got to give him a good look. You know what I mean? I gotta say that I could see him doing something great, and he's also been out from prison since he got out, and he hasn't gone back. You know what I mean? Said he's off parole, so he's doing the right thing. He's focused. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I've heard him speak, whether it's on live, he's always talking about the right things. So I expect some really good things from Roney in 2021. At number 5, I have YG. YG was definitely one of the top Toronto rappers of 2020. When the coronavirus hit and nobody knew what was going on, he was working. He dropped the coronavirus EP with songs like Backyardigans and Watch 2. He also dropped his solo mixtape with no features, Killer by Myself. Just him straight rapping, different flows, different bars, just being a killer by himself, addressing certain situations that he wanted to address. One thing I will say about YG is I think a lot of people take him for granted. I think he's one of the most unique rappers in Toronto. I think he has a style that he does not want to sound like nobody else. He doesn't try to sound like nobody else, and he's very lyrical. People are not listening to what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Like a song like Cause is a very lyrical song. Dead friend on the shirt. Only time he had sauce. GGXDFN. That's how I learn my alphabets. Like he be saying some shit that people don't really be listening to. Like he's really a rapper. And in 2020, he and Top 5 came together and made a collaboration called Hurting Me, and it was the first track in Toronto to go #1 trending on YouTube, and fastest song hit 1 million views. So it just shows you YG's 2020 was great, man. That type of exposure, that type of anticipation, the build up that he and Top 5 were able to create shows the power they have. You know what I'm saying? That song is currently sitting at 2 million views on YouTube. So, you know what I mean? And YG's also shown that he's willing to take his disrespect to another level, to ultimate levels on records. And that right there will always have fans willing to click play at any given time to hear what he's gonna say. And like it or not, that's a skill to be able to captivate people. You know what I'm saying? And he's somebody that if you listen to him, he always says, man, this rap shit is how I eat. This is free rackades. You know what I'm saying? This is how he gets to it. So his output is always there. He's always putting out music, man. Like, and that's something that I think a lot of people in the city need to keep doing. And he's on that. Like, he doesn't slow up with his releases. He also has J Neat, Pressa, and whoever, Burna Bandz, whoever on the north side that he needs for a feature, and him and Top 5 have a great relationship. So he's in a position to always have hits at his disposal. You know what I'm saying? So I think 2021 is going to be a great year for YG if he stays doing what he's been doing for the last couple of years. He had Auntie the other year. He had Heard Me this year. You know what I mean? So he can just keep swinging, and one's gonna stick. You know what I'm saying? One's gonna stick. I expect him to have another hit this year as well. So I definitely expect YG to have a great 2021. At number 4, I have Tizzy Stackz. In 2020, I think Tizzy Stackz emerged and put himself amongst the names of all the big dogs in the city. He did that without any online politics, without beef, and without a big social media following. He did that with straight music. You know what I'm saying? You look at his Spotify listeners, he's competing with all the other artists in the city. You know what I'm saying? He put out his mixtape Greenlight, and like I said, I haven't heard one bad song from this guy, man. This guy is super talented. He knows what he's doing. He's very lyrical. He used to rap. So the fact that he used to rap, his pen is nice. And it's easy for him to have things to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gets his point across very easy. That Greenlight mixtape is very hard, man. Very, very hard, top to bottom. Some of his bigger songs this year were Back In, Red Light, Rainstorm, Projects. He recently did a song with Lil Brett called Black Heart, and that song is stupid. That song is so hard, man. You could just feel it, man. He really knows what he's doing, man. I see 2021. If he continues at this pace, he's going places. Like, he really is going places. He's very talented, and he's building a real fan base inside and out of the city. Definitely, man. I think Tizzy Stackz is somebody to look out for. I know some people probably like. I know people. He's not the name that people are probably looking for, but he's a guy, man. He's building his name. You know what I'm saying? I think music wise, he's definitely up there with the rest of them. And then number 3, this one right here, man. He could easily be number 1. I feel like he's gonna be number 1. You know what I'm saying? His time is coming. If I had to put my money on an artist for the next 5 years, and I had to feel like, yo, I want to make a return on my money, this the guy I'd put my money on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about Northside Benji. And why I said putting him here at number 3 is just a testament to what he's about to do in 2021 and who he is. Because he did not drop a single song in 2020. Yet he still managed to accumulate 11 million streams on Spotify alone. You know what I'm saying? And I don't listen to music on Spotify. I listen to my shit on Apple. And niggas know I listen to Northside Benji. So, with that being said, 2021, he said he's dropping his album in March, Extravagant. You know what I'm saying? We have been having a lot of delays with Northside Benji, but I would think it's impossible for him not to drop this year. You know what I'm saying? So when Benji drops, I think he's out of here. You know what I'm saying? He's already cultivated a fan base outside of Canada. He's becoming a staple. You know what I mean? In the UK, you know, he appeared twice on Nine's album, and if you go check on Apple Music, the 2 songs he's on are the ones that are favorites. He's working with a couple artists out there. He's definitely putting his feet in the sand. You know, rubbing shoulders. He did a song with Unknown. Like how'd I forget about what he did in 2019 when he went up there and fire in the booth, his second for part 2. You know what I'm saying? Killed part 1, part 2. Come on, man. It's not really much to say, you know what I'm saying, other than that he really hasn't given us no music, you know what I mean? But as I said, 11 million streams off music you didn't drop in 2020, like that's a testament, you know what I mean, that your music's timeless. People can go back and listen to Confessions, go back and listen to Facts, go back and listen to man, the whole catalog. But for those that know, really been following the scene, man, like before Northside Benji dropped back to Hollywood, or left Hollywood, I should say, I made a video about him. And I said Up Next in Toronto. You know what I'm saying? And that was like 3-4 years ago, man. But I seen it then, and I think it's time what the world's about to see it. Once that music drops, man, there's really nothing to say. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's the one. He is the one that's gonna push the city into another direction. His music has substance. He's very clear, you know what I mean, vocally, that, you know what I mean, people don't have to strain their ears to hear him. You know what I mean? I think the only flaws he's really shown is that is not really giving music, you know what I mean? But that could probably just him being a perfectionist. And, you know, his fans probably want to hear and see more of him. You know what I mean? He's a real mysterious guy. Like, he'll put stuff in his IG story, like pictures upside down, or like have the caption in the font in mad small writing in the bottom corner that you gotta like squint your eyes to see it. Like, he's, you know what I mean, he does little different things, you know what I mean? But musically, man, he's ready, man. And he actually is somebody that I feel like is a good representation of Canada. You know what I mean? I'll say Toronto, you know, he reps the B, but whatever. He's gonna be a great representation because he doesn't get outside of himself, you know what I mean? And with that pen, he's just different. You know what I'm saying? So we had Northside Benji. And the second artist to look out for, Duvy. Consistently dominated. He consistently dominated 2020 more than anybody else. I'm giving him that. You know what I'm saying? He came up this year, man. He put his name amongst all the names that we considered to be the top guys, you know what I mean, in 2019 and 2020. Like, Duvy really came for that crown of being, yo, any song I put out, I'm guaranteed 100 in 3-4 days. Any song I put out, I'm gonna get 500 in a month and a half. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was his standard that he set. You know what I mean? I love his music. Two Sides of Me, banger. Nightmares, banger. Painkillers, banger. Like, this kid got crazy flows, and like sometimes you have to slow down to actually listen to what he's saying. But when you finally slow down, you're like, yeah, he be saying some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I really fuck with his music, man. The youngins do, the kids do. It's for everybody. You know what I mean? He's only 18 years old. He's moving the right way as far as this music shit goes. You know what I'm saying? Did some joint collabs with Money Music. You know what I mean? He has a song with Killy coming that he previewed. He's been previewing a lot of music that sounds really, really hard. Murder Beats is co-signed him. They've been working together. So he's putting together the right sauce together, man, to just put out a tape and take things to the next level. He's just got to keep doing what he's doing. Like, from 2019 to 2020, like, he really, you know what I mean? Like, from Rookie of the Year to MVP candidate, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how he's coming. You know what I mean? And 2021 is going to be a really, really big year for Duvy as long as he stays consistent. And then number 1, you already know who it is by now, man. Top five. I don't know if we would have asked anybody this 3 years ago, would you see top 5 being at the top of the Toronto rap game? I don't think anybody would have said this. You know what I mean? His earlier music wasn't really the best. You know what I mean? Songs like Shirt Off on Any Block. He had a song with Styles P. You know what I mean? Song with Iceman. Like, they weren't the best. You know what I mean? But something happened. You know what I mean? He calls it, what he says is Pedro was activated. You know what I mean? And once Pedro became activated, something changed, bro. Like, Top 5 was always famous. You know what I mean? He was always famous on IG for, like, taking pictures with celebrities and stuff like that. And, you know, having a relationship with Drake. But 2020, man, he was sustaining himself with music. You know what I'm saying? I can honestly say, I think the city can say 2020, like, he kind of stepped out that Drake shadow of, like, oh, you know what I mean? People couldn't really say, yo, Drake, you're just here because of Drake or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? He really just came into his own. You know what I mean? This year he was, what is it, Top Live, as he was talking about. He really has a skill and a talent to be able to pull 3,000 people at any given time. You can wake up, you know what I mean, and go use the bathroom at 7 in the morning, go on your IG, and he's on live, and there's 3,000 people in there. It can be 3,000 people at 2 in the morning, at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You know what I'm saying? He has real interaction with his fans, and it's 2021 is looking very, very promising for him. You know what I'm saying? With songs like Hurting Me, like I said, with him and YG, they went #1 trending with that song. They're at 2 million views right now. Step is 780K. You know what I'm saying? Like, all his songs hit. Drill Some More too. All his songs were recently. He just dropped 2 cases and he did 100,000 views in a day. You know what I mean? In like 12 hours or whatever. So he's doing things that 21 Questions. He's previewed a lot of music that sounds hard. You know what I'm saying? So if he drops that mixtape and it's the fire that he's previewed, 2021 really may be looking really good for Top 5. You know what I'm saying? Really, really good, man. He's positioned himself to be the #1 artist to look at in Toronto. He is positioned. He is the #1 artist that, if you're not even from here and you don't know anybody from Toronto, you're an artist in the States or you're somebody in the States, you've probably come across his page. You know what I'm saying? More than an artist that may be the better artist. So thanks for watching. Leave your top 10 list in the comments. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a great year for Toronto. It's your boy E. It's too real.